just did some good work in the 9 to 5 job and utilized a pattern, a development pattern that I don't want to forget. So thought a video to explain it would help remember it in the future. I need to look back. So what I have here is a Mac, a Flutter app running on Mac, and it allows it shows a list of people, excuse me, and hobbies that then can be chosen as the favorite hobby for that person. And what this is around is Dart function tear-offs. So, for example, this is a method that gets called from the screen. It calls into a view model. I have a view model architecture, view model architecture that I've used in the past for many of my apps, and it's based off of the stack library and provider. But anyway, so this is the screen of the app, this whole screen here, and it comes down and it has a view model scaffold, and within that scaffold we print out the list of people, and then within the list of people we then print out the hobby list. But as we go from the screen down into the widgets, this method, this function gets delivered down to each layer, so that it can subsequently get executed when the buttons are pressed. And as we can see, the view model, well, actually the tag one here is getting called first, and then from there we call into the view model, which is up here, and that gets printed, and the map of the user, the person ID and the hobby that was selected as the favorite gets set. So the idea of a function tear-off, although I'm still very new to them, is that we can remove that and just pass that function, this signature there, I think that's the proper terminology, as a tear-off. And then the code, when this gets executed, will actually then get loaded with the information to then get delivered back to the view model. So if I reload that and I start to push some buttons here, I can see that view model is still getting triggered with the proper, IDs. Yep, Fred and Bob, and the proper hobbies. Yes. So that's kind of the general idea. We have a type def here that defines the function that gets delivered. Let's use that word. Down through the different layers of the UI widgets. And as this is defines, it takes a string, which is the ID, and a chosen hobby. That hobby is an enumerated list right there. Sorry, right above. All right, if nothing is selected, then it's not selected. And of course, when I first did this, I had a very general idea of what I was going to do. And then I refactored and refactored and refactored. So there's some other things to talk about in here that I think are pretty cool. So function, again, that's what gets executed when the hobby is selected for a given user. And so to go through the different layers, again, got the screen that utilizes the view model through this base view. I can go over that later in some other video. Let's see then, so we come down here to the hobby list. The hobby list is another stateless widget here that takes an ID for the entire list here. So one ID for Bob, Fred, and Stan. And the response that gets sent back, that function definition is right here. We can see that it's that string and hobby. And then also the selected hobby, which may or may not be selected. That's mark that. X that last bit, which I will probably not edit out because I suck at editing and it's just going to be a one take. So anyway, a hobby list as no guess, no surprise. It prints out a list of hobbies. That was pretty cool. I was able to map directly from the enumeration. Haven't done that before. And it checks to see is for each hobby here from the enumerated list, if that hobby is equal to, oh, yep. If the hobby is not none selected, then we show the smallest widget that I could find because we can't send back null. I'm pretty sure from the documentation and my attempts at that didn't work. So I went with this size box shrink, which actually got a post on Stack Overflow that recommended to use this instead of a container. So if none is selected, then none gets selected. Otherwise, we print out. So that means a hobby. That means that, oh boy, come on, brain. Okay, a list of hobbies. Each one of these is that if it is equal to none selected, that's right. If the hobby that is selected is none selected, then show a blank widget is basically what this says. Otherwise, show a button, the hobby widget, pass down the ID of this row, Bob, Stan, or Fred, the hobby that this widget is going to correspond to, the response to call back to when the hobby is, if the hobby is selected, and then the actual hobby in this list that is selected. And that allows us to have the option list so that only one hobby is selected per user. So then if we dive down, if I dive down, you're not going to do it, into the hobby widget with all of that information, and we are left at this button, this outline button here. And excuse the dog next door, very upset that the owners aren't home. If you can hear that bang. So anyway, we come in here, outline button, pretty basic stuff. There's that eventual function that gets called with the ID and the actual hobby. If it is selected, then we utilize one set of styles. Otherwise, we use another set of styles. Nothing too surprising there. So, yep, click on those guys. One gets selected, and we can't unselect. That would be another feature. Another thing that to showcase here is that this list of hobbies for a given user utilizes this outline box. Within that outline box is this label that shows Bob, Fred, or Stan, and that gets passed down here. And then that widget is here, which is a stack, and within that stack we draw the name. Right. No. This is the border, the black border that is printed. I mean, we can go amber here to really showcase that. Ooh, yeah, that's great. That's the border that's drawn, and then on top of that is the label, the title. Okay, well, I called it title here. I pulled this in from some other code just so that I would have a record of this functionality also. Let's see what else. What's the Dart tear off? What the app does? Yep. Type. Yep. Simple. Oh, and so one thing I also wanted to note here is how to do a simple void contact. Again, something I constantly forget. I don't know why. So I've got on top of here, there's a column. That first widget is some widget, which takes a void callback down here. Where is it? Some widget. I just need to go find it. There we go. It is here. Super simple widget. It just has one button, and a void callback, so callback on tap, and that also is tear off because it's not because it doesn't have the parentheses for the function and all that other stuff. So I think that's considered a tear off also. But that's the simplest thing that does is it just prints out the current time down here. So again, that was another thing I have in here. The architecture stack package, outline border. Oh, spread operator for person list and hobby enumeration. Yeah, so spread operation for the list of people up here. List of people. There we go. And then down as shown before, here's the a spread operator for the list of hobbies. And that's about it. I mean, real quick, I could then put in another person here and refresh that. Nope. Reload the app. There we go. Yep. And we get another person that gets added in as we put people into this list. Obviously, there's a bunch of different ways this could have been done. And I do have some ideas about how to extend the functionality in here that I can go in later videos. So there we go. So you don't forget how to do this in the future, Mike. This is Mike signing off. Where is it? One more bay. There we go.